while the crypto space really has been starting to see some mainstream integration a couple of years ago, was it 2017 for you, AJ? 2016, somewhere
Yeah,
there?
2016, 2017. There was a major boom there, yeah.
So we both picked a couple of winners and had a great deal of success. Of course, many of our friends have made millions of dollars in the 2017, that big 2017 movement. And you had to sort of have a solid horse that you were connecting yourself to, and you had to time it pretty well. But of course, there was a whole group of our friends that got involved in 2015, 2016 that were even better positioned, and many of those guys have made tens of millions. Now, a lot of people ask me, is the opportunity for that kind of growth gone? And it isn't. It isn't gone at all. We're going to see those kind of success stories again. One of the things that I know that you and I both do is we're very discerning now when we're deciding which projects to connect to, because there are just so many more offerings into the marketplace today. So due diligence is so important. And it's not important because of the tenth of a BTC that you're going to throw at an automated project. That's not why. It's important because of the time that you're potentially going to waste sort of hitching all of your time energy to the wrong horse. And so that's the kind of stuff that, you know, AJ and I, when we're talking about business, that we're really focusing on. The due diligence side is just not pissing away that time, which is so critically important when we're really talking about this critical window in crypto to start accumulating BTC. One of the things, of course, we've learned since 2017, altcoins may have a bit of a resurgence. I don't necessarily see it. I think I would sort of probably connect altcoins more to that tech bubble that was happening around 1997, 1998, when anything from Silicon Valley was getting millions of venture capital money throwing at it, and most of it was pure nonsense and nothing else. And this is really what we've seen with most of these altcoins. The thing about the altcoins that's interesting, though, is, and many of you probably own some, and there's genuine technology that's attached to a lot of those altcoins. But I think if we are going to play it safe and really make sure that we benefit from the next run, it's probably going to be from holding BTC. So one of the things that I liked about this project that we're going to talk about, and we're going to keep this really short so that you guys have an opportunity, and ladies have an opportunity to ask some questions. This is something that's very new in that it's only been in a pre-launch period for 4 months. However, the ownership group, and this is a group that I speak to on a daily basis, which is part of my due diligence process, they've been working on this for 8 months behind the scenes. So there's a couple things that tells us. First of all, they're well capitalized, because if you're going to start building out a business for 8 months or 9 months or 10 months before you start accepting any revenue from the field, you need to have you need to be able to cover the burn. And when you see sort of what these guys have put together and how many employees that they already have, their burn rate is substantial, to say the least. So this is a project that, as I said before, went into pre-launch about 4 weeks ago. It is in the crypto space. And if you have any crypto experience, the first thing you're going to notice here is this is extraordinarily simple. And it's simple by design. They do have extensive legal teams that are working behind the scenes on making sure the automation is correct. The federal trade laws, all of those things are being covered. Anti-money laundering protocols are all being met. The kind of stuff that, again, AJ and myself and other experienced network marketing builders want to see, because we all know that the real significant income can only be generated if you have some time. You need to be able to build in an environment where you have some time to build, and you have some time for some passive gains to start to accumulate that you can very easily share with others so that they have the time to get involved and start seeing passive gains themselves. And so my gut on this, and from all the due diligence I've done, is that the team behind this are really spending the money where it needs to be spent to make sure that they have a very long run. So let's dive into this really quickly. First of all, for those of you who know nothing about Forex, it is important you understand that when it comes to money markets, this is the biggest and the baddest. So this is where the central banks and the entire banking industry spend an awful lot of their time and make an awful lot of their billions of dollars. Governments are heavily involved in Forex. Multinational corporations, financial companies, JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, and the list goes on and on and on. So this is the largest, most liquid financial market in the world. Believe it or not, even what we call retail traders, and these are people that just work part-time for the sheer love or enthusiasm or passion of it, there's more than 90 million retail Forex traders around the world. 19 million. It's absolutely massive. And by the way, I want you to imagine just how much money 19 million traders is. Imagine if they even only have $1,000 in their brokerage account. Imagine how much money that is. 90 million people times $1,000. The retail Forex market only represents about 5.5% of all the money in the Forex market. That's how big it is. It's huge. $5.3 trillion as a daily average. It's not always that big, but it's absolutely massive. Here's one of the cool things though. Historically proven to be recession proof. How come? Well, we're talking about currency pairs, Japanese yen versus Swiss franc, US dollar versus Great British pound. One currency is rising, the other's falling. It's always the up and down is the currency market. And so largely this is a recession proof place to be. So when the stock market is taking a hit, when the S&P is taking a hit, when commodities are taking a hit, we know we have a crash coming. Forex are largely a safe place to be. We also know store of value, Bitcoin is going to be a safe place to be. So the things we're talking about right now with Forex and BTC are very timely because our last big crash was what? 2008, the global the housing crisis, and many economists believe that we're due. So 24 hours a day, 5 days a week. This is weekends off market. All right, the Forex Group themselves, you're taking a look in the background, a shot of Panama City. Panama is very closely related to the United States. Of course, it's Central America. It's kind of a financial capital of Central America. A lot of money, a lot of global banking in Panama. And this is where the capital for this particular enterprise is. In fact, if you take a look at the high rises on the right-hand side of the slide, the tallest building, the top 3 floors of that building are the offices for this particular group. And any email you get from Ash will actually have those office address, that location on those emails. So the project is very straightforward. That is bringing Forex and the complexities of Forex to the masses. So really simplifying an offer that everyone can participate in. First of all, partner brokers, they have 3 partner brokers. You can see the regulatory authorities that are being met from those partner brokers. So regardless of where you live in the world, one of those brokers has you properly regulated in your part of the world. So the mission of the company is straightforward and simple. It's really to simplify access to Forex, because if you do have some Forex experience, you'll know typically some of the workload in just getting started is picking a broker, funding that broker, which is easier said than done, filling in all your KYC, connecting your bank to the broker, downloading MetaTrader 4, downloading any software that a system may have, potentially depending on where you live or the type of system, you have to pay for and connect a VPS, a virtual private server. The list goes on and on and on and on before you can make or lose a penny.
Yeah, and I just want to maybe touch on that a little bit. And, half the battle with trading or getting into the financial, world is the technical aspects of it. A lot of people get overwhelmed just by the technical aspects of it that, in terms of getting into the trading portion and actually trading, a lot of people don't even get to that point because they're overwhelmed by, a lot of the technical portions. And one thing that I love about this is, again, what you touched on is the simplicity of it, not having to have that steep learning curve just to get started. So yeah, thanks for that.
Very cool. I appreciate that. So simplification is really the MO of this particular project. Now that said, because of the simplification, because we're trading in a pool, so this is very easy to enter and very easy to exit, transparency is going to be even more important. And so one of the things that actually will be happening during the official launch of this platform is an application that you'll download on your phone. You can actually access through Google Play or the Apple iStore. And we call it an iframe. It's basically a window into the trading that's taking place. You'll learn a little bit more about that right now. We talked about Goldman Sachs and JP Morgan, a lot of the other financial companies that are heavily involved in trading. And a lot of what's been happening recently is the onset of AI, artificial intelligence, and some of the amazing results. Honestly, AJ, if you would have told me 2 years ago that AI is having the impact, the successful impact in the trading world it is, I don't think I would have believed it.
Yes, same thing. I mean, I've heard of AI and things like that in the past, and a lot of it's not real AI; it's just software. So AI in the last while here, especially with blockchain and a lot of the new technology that has come up has really changed the game. And I was introduced to AI roughly about 3 years ago, when people were still talking about AI and, starting off with it. And, there's a lot of stuff out there, but AI definitely has played a significant role in terms of, not just from a huge financial institutional standpoint, but, now trickling down to, retail traders. So really, really cool stuff.
What's really neat about it is that over the last couple of years, we're starting to see access for the everyday person, for myself, where I may not have had access, or many others may not have had access to the types of AIs that can deliver extraordinary results. So this particular platform is operating with live professional traders. Many of you who have Forex experience have also heard the term EA. EA is an expert advisor. That's the software element of it that AJ was talking about. So that would be like a step down from AI. And the professionals behind this platform, the live traders, do their own proprietary EA development and also the AI as well. So it's all done in-house. This is not a third-party or white label product. The Academy is key, because what the Academy is doing, we talked about federal trade laws a moment ago, and we talked about paying attention and making sure that you build a compliant business for one key reason, so that your company can last for years and not just months. Because that's ultimately where the large incomes come from. When you have an opportunity for a great idea to really spread and last for years and years. So the Academy really is the legal and legitimate product that product sales ultimately pay through the rewards plan. And that's one of those federal trade law requirements, just like the customer to member ratio. We'll talk about that in a minute as well. So this Academy, you think of it as an online university. There's a lot of money that's being invested into this particular online university. In fact, it's being so well developed that the Ministry of Education in the home country where this company is located, in Panama City, Panama, is actually recognizing and accrediting this particular piece of software, this educational platform. So 3 basic series: the Elemental series, the Supreme series, and the Advanced. We'll talk about them as we roll out these trade contracts. So this is where the simplicity of the system becomes very apparent. What you'll do in replace of picking a broker, opening an account, downloading MetaTrader, and all those other steps we talked about, instead all that you're doing is you're buying a trade contract. That's it. And it's exactly what it sounds like. The trade contract has terms, there's a cost of ownership, and then the trade contract is completed when a certain set of parameters is met. And one of those parameters is from the automated trading. When you earn 2 times the value of the trade contract, that contract is over. That's it. And you withdraw your profits and you move on, or you do it again. It's very, very straightforward and simple. But when we talk about the legalities of the whole project, the Academy Pack, and take a look at Academy Pack 90, 30% of the value of every trade contract is earmarked for that portion of the Academy, that access to the education. So you notice the remaining $210 is actually what's being traded on your behalf. And the last thing you see below there is the leadership program. We'll talk about that in just a minute to give you an understanding of where the value there comes in. So if you notice, each one of these contracts, take a look at the Academy Pack, it's 30% of the value of the contract. But what's really cool, if you approach this just from a customer perspective, the perspective of someone who's never going to share this with anyone, you're actually going to earn 2 times the value of the total contract, not the traded amount. So on the 1K contract, you'll earn 2K in trade results, not $1,400 on the $700 that's going into trading. So even though 30% is earmarked for the rewards plan, you as a passive participant are not being penalized for that. We slide into Supreme series. So the Elemental series is really where you're going to sort of learn the lay of the land in Forex. You're going to understand the Forex terminologies. You'll learn what MetaTrader is, what a broker is, what a broker does, how money's, what spreads, all of those types of things, the very basics of Forex. This Supreme series is really where they start to connect the dots and you actually develop the skills to make trades. Now, most important thing to remember is that as you learn this or gain access to this entire academy, doing this manually is always an option to you. It's never mandatory. I, for example, because I have friends like AJ that do trade, I already know enough about trading that I know I don't have the attention span for it. And so I never, ever want to do it myself. I'm simply always going to be buying contracts and upgrading my contracts and allowing the automation of the EA and the A to do its job for me. And then, of course, the Advanced Professional Series, this is where you'll actually have an opportunity to speak with one-on-one time to trade professionals, professional coaches. And this is mostly the psychology of trading. So you understand the do's and don'ts, you understand the structure, the rules, and then how do you make that final breakthrough that really separates you from 90% of the retail traders that still lose money? And that's really through the psychology of understanding proper trade analysis and keeping emotion out of the process, etc. So those are the 3 series. You can see there's 10 different increments, 10 different contracts. One of the things that has really captured the imagination of a lot of people on the simplicity side is that you could start at a $300 or a $500 contract, and as you start making gains, you can use some of those gains to actually move yourself up the contract ladder. So it's actually theoretically possible to start at a $300 or $500 contract and never go into your pocket, and you work your way all the way up the trade ladder to a 100K contract. So when we talk about results in about 30 seconds, you'll see why those larger contracts are getting so much attention. So the rewards plan itself, we're going to break down a couple of things. If you notice, every single one of those trade contracts had a seal, and of course had the denomination of the value of the contract, but below it, it had a bear and a bull. Now in the trade world, a bear and a bull have a different meaning. A bear, of course, is a market that's struggling or weak. A bull market is a very strong and running market. That is not the case here. A bear participant in CFX is someone who is only going to benefit from automated trading. They have no desire to share anything with anyone. And that's completely fine. They can earn up to 2 times the value of their trade contract as a passive or automated participant. Now, a bull customer is actually someone who is also going to exploit, take advantage of the rewards plan. We've already told you where the rewards plan revenue is actually coming from, and I'll show you a graphic detail in just a second. And then we also mentioned the leadership program that accumulates these points that accumulate for all kinds of other bonuses you'll see in a minute. So if you look to the right-hand side, that purple circle, that's the seal representing a 2K contract. You can see the bear and the bull in the center. And then you'll notice, again, $600 is 30% of the value of the contract. Well, that $600 is broken up for 2 different bonuses. A fast start bonus, this is a typical sponsor bonus. I refer a friend, they refer another friend. Whoever is doing the referring is earning the fast start bonus. What's interesting is this. Remember we said a moment ago, just from automated trade results, you could take a portion of your gain and upgrade to another contract, and you can continue working your way up the ladder. Well, every single time that someone you referred works their way up the ladder, guess what happens? You get another fast start bonus, and another one, and another one, and another one. This is a very ingenious way to remove the auto ship requirement. Many of the FX platforms that are available online right now have very significant auto ship or monthly costs, $150, 200 US dollars, 250 US dollars is not uncommon for an FX platform. And a lot of people have a bit of a challenging time spending $200 or $250 before they've started to earn. This platform actually has no auto ship. So there's no ongoing cost. I can spend $300 or $500 once and use those gains to move my way up that contract ladder. And as my sponsor, well, they'll continue to earn every single time I do that. Now, there's also a unilevel bonus. So the first thing you'll notice, 300 plus 300 is 600. So even though the company is spending a lot of money building out a very professional online university and making sure they do everything they need to get that accredited, they're keeping none of that academy dollar. 100% of that is actually going to the field. Very important. Okay, so trade results. One of the first things you'll notice behind the tablet the gentleman is on, 15%. I think this might floor you. We talked about AI and the proficiency of AI. So as I mentioned before, AJ, these guys have been working on this most recent algorithm for 8 months. And so we talked about this is not something they just threw into the market. This is not a white label product either. This is something that they own. It's proprietary. And we've been seeing for months now around 15% per week in gains. So fantastic gains. Now, I'll tell you this, they cap this at 15%. And the reason that they do, if you talk to anyone who spends time in the trading space, in the Forex trading space, that you'll know that there are often shifts in the market, and formulas and strategies and algorithms that really thrive under certain market conditions can sometimes struggle under other market conditions. So by creating a cap of 15%, when they have those boom weeks, the extra actually gets into a bit of a rainy day fund. The reason that they do this, I'll tell you right now, most people that are new to Forex or new to trading, they can't handle the swings. The swings freak them out. So by creating a bit of a rainy day fund, it really helps to level the results out. And typically what I'm seeing is somewhere between 1.5% and 3% per day as my trading gains. Well, that's big. That's a 50% swing, or rather 100% one to the other. But as long as you're seeing consistent gains because of that rainy day fund, then generally the membership is quite calm and cool with the whole process. Any comments, AJ?
No, that's really good. One thing that I like about this is that there's no auto ship. See, with a lot of the programs out there, the auto ship actually takes away from a lot of the earnings. You know, a lot of people would put in, see, a lot of people will get into a program, you know, any type of program. There's that upfront cost, and then there's a monthly auto ship that's involved, right, to maintain the subscription. And what happens is a lot of people are left with not a lot of capital. You know, a lot of people get into, you know, Forex, things like that. They want to try out with, you know, a very small kind of investment capital up front, whether it's $500, $1,000. And when they incur these charges of, you know, a monthly subscription, whatever it is, it's actually eating into their profits. And that's why a lot of people don't really get ahead in terms of, you know, seeing any type of profits or results. So I do like this concept of a one-time investment, or, you know, I wouldn't you want to use the word investment, but, you know, one-time basically fee and getting into it. And, you know, part of that capital becomes also your upfront trading capital to start off with. So that's really the game changer here compared to a lot of the programs out there. And also another thing is the gamification process of this, you know, starting off with either $300 or $500 package and then moving your way up, you know, reinvesting a lot of the capital that gets generated from, you know, whether it's the trading or the referral program. So, you know, it's really a win-win from all aspects, which is what I really love. And now the average person getting into this can really see results, and a lot quicker as well.
The gamification that you just mentioned, I mean, I know it's fun, but I didn't realize people would rally around it to the degree that they are. I have a friend of mine in the UK, and remember, you know, this is brand new. Like, it's been 4 weeks since we just started making this available to people. And I've got a friend in the UK that started a $300 contract and moved to $500 and moved to $1,000, $2,000, and just recently moved to $5,000 contract in 4 weeks. And of course, a 5K contract, that's 30% is Rewards Plan Academy, right? And half of that is Fast Start bonus. So that's a $750 bonus that I get because I'm the sponsor, and this is all done on a platform without auto ship. So again, as they start moving into those larger contracts, because they're sharing enthusiastically or they're getting great trade returns, it's just bigger and bigger bonuses that will go to you, the sponsor. So the Fast Start bonus, remember, it's a 50-50 split of that Academy portion. And the Fast Start is, of course, and you can refer as many people as you want to the platform. And then this is going towards the bull capital. So remember, we said the bear capital is 2 times the value of your contract. And then the bull capital is an additional 2 times the value of your contract. But that is on the rewards plan side. So the unilevel is the second half of that. And you can see what this unilevel looks like very simply. If I sponsor 5 people or if I sponsor 105 people, they're all on my level 1. And then as this grows organically, we all know what starts to happen from there. One of the things that I'm excited about is this transparency app that will be very easy to access. Because this is being traded on your behalf, transparency is going to be so key to this absolutely blowing up. And you can imagine what's going to happen when friends are sitting down with friends over coffee, flipping up on their phone and showing their trade results in real time. This is also going towards your bull capital. So the force matrix, the last thing I want to share, this is really cool. What's interesting about this bonus is that both customers who never refer anyone and builders alike both get to benefit from this. So what is actually happening? This is like a self-perpetuating bonus. It's really creative what they're doing because customers make gains and business builders make gains. Everybody's withdrawing. And by the way, one of the things we talked about federal trade laws and anti-money laundering earlier, you always have to be withdrawing your gains. So when you're withdrawing, the company's actually charging you a 20% withdrawal fee. Yeah, you heard me right. That's a huge withdrawal fee. Now, if the company was keeping that, well, that would be a deal breaker for, I'm sure, everybody on the line. What's really interesting, though, is they're actually keeping none of it, not even 1 or 2%. 100% of this withdrawal fee is going to the field. What's really interesting is that it's going into a bonus that's called a force matrix. So this is a 3x10 force matrix. So when a customer or a builder positions themselves and they're part of an aggressive growing team, which all of them are at this stage of the game, we're just getting rolling. So you'll even see customers starting to see this spillover because it is so early. What that does is it actually motivates your customers to not only get a new contract because they're earning on automated, but it actually gives them a motivation to increase in contract size. Because what happens when you get into larger contracts, it allows the customers and the builders to earn deeper and deeper into this matrix. So as this starts to fill up and everybody makes withdrawals, I've done $10,000 worth of withdrawals already. So that's $2,000 that has gone into this matrix. Is very, very significant. Imagine if I did $2,000 into the matrix and I was on your level 6 or level 7. You actually would get that $200 or $600 that would go directly to you just from me. And I would be only one of hundreds or thousands of people that eventually go into your matrix. So I know this bonus has an awful lot of people excited, but also this goes into bear capital, just like your automated trading. So it really helps create that balance between the comp plan and the trading plan.
And I really love this part. I mean, it's for, there's a lot of people that get into, I don't know, MLMs and network marketing and things like that. And they're not strong builders. They want to be a part of a program. And a lot of times they're not seeing results. This allows the average person, whether they recruit or not, to even participate, in a bigger pool. So I really love this concept. And this is really the biggest reason why I align myself with this. Not only is the trading part, taken care of, and that steep learning curve is kind of taken care of. But now, in terms of business building portion, they're able to be a part of this whole pool where everybody else can take advantage of. So that's really, really amazing.
It's really, honestly, it's a lot of fun. And I'm getting very, very positive feedback from this. The very last thing we want to discuss is leadership. There's matching bonuses all the way through. There's matching bonuses for those people that are great at sponsoring. And I know almost everyone on the call, and they're all great at sponsoring. There's matching bonuses loaded throughout this. So there's matching matrix bonuses, the matching leadership plan bonuses as well. And of course, this is going into the bull capital. It's very easy to start moving through this leadership rank, but most importantly on that unilevel is that ability to eventually get that into infinity. Because like I said before, it's only been a very short period of time. I'm seeing growth way beyond level 10 already, AJ. And so to be able to allow this when all these transparency applications, et cetera, go live, people have videos online of being at the office, meeting the traders, going to the trading floor, all of this kind of physical evidence of authentication. You're obviously going to have organic growth that you can capture for 10 levels and 20 and 30 and 50 and beyond.
Yeah, super amazing. I really love it. A question that Halil had put in here, I know he's jumped offline, but he goes, so money isn't in our own broker account. What do you have for that?
Yeah, so it's deliberately not in our own broker account, but for many people that understand trading, for them, that's a priority. And so at launch, that option is also available. So they'll allow you to API into their tech. For me, because I've spoken with the owners at length, I know who their legal team in the US is for FTC and for securities. I know how much money they're spending behind the scenes. So over my due diligence process, I've become very confident with the idea of simply allowing them to do it for me.
And another thing is too, you're allowed daily withdrawals. So any profits, any gains, anything that you see, you have access to on a daily basis. Is that right, John?
You have access to your fast start bonuses daily. Your trade results accumulate daily, but then they're compiled at the end of the week. So your trade results, you're withdrawing weekly, and your unit level, you're withdrawing weekly.
Yeah, and Michael Farr goes, will we have to download software such as MetaTrader 4? That's a no, which is,
That's one of the reasons this is growing the way it is.
Exactly. And like I mentioned before, a lot of the learning curve gets a lot of people get stuck in a tech portion when they get involved in trading. And that's the most overwhelming part, let alone trying to learn how to trade. So, a lot of the tech portion is what stops people from seeing any type of success in the trading world. There's a lot of different programs out there where you can copy and paste trades, things like that. And like John was saying, a lot of the stuff you would require either a VPS, which is a computer that stays on 24 hours, which allows you to be able to access that, so that your trades are running in the background 24 hours. If you're running any sort of software, for instance, EAs, things like that, you will require a VPS, which is an additional fee, which is additional technology, which is also another learning curve because you're actually remote desktoping into another computer to access those trades and for that software to actually function. So this takes a lot of that learning curve away and gets people started and earning as quick as possible. And this is why this program is going to excel really big. I mean, like John was saying, it's already blowing up and we're still in pre-launch. But what I'm super excited about this is that there's a couple of key things. Again, there's no auto ship, meaning there's no monthly fees, so you're not taking away from people's profits and gains. Another thing is no learning curve, right? You get in, your money that you paid into the program, a portion of it goes into your trades. Third of all, you're able to participate in business building, even though you're not a strong business builder through the Forex Matrix. So there's a lot of win-win with this program.
There is, and I think that most people are getting more and more savvy too as time passes, and they understand the risk to reward. Of course, the risk of not having your capital in your own account. The counter to that is a program that's extremely simple and it just explodes. It just absolutely explodes in growth. And sort of the counterbalance to that is going to be the transparency with which they'll operate from the application. And I think that will allow us to have sort of the best of both worlds.
Most definitely. And, for the people that are uncomfortable with, maybe that possibility, it's as low as $300 to get into this program. Try it for yourself, see it for yourself. And that's probably going to be the discussion that you're going to have with a lot of people that you're sharing this with, is that get started for $300. Everybody has $300 to get their feet wet. When it comes to trading, even if you're going to trade yourself, $300 normally isn't enough for you to see any sort of gains. Talk to any trader, talk to anybody out there. $500, you're not going to see much gains. And if you're paying a monthly subscription of $150, $200 a month, you're actually in the negatives, because at $300 type of investment or $500 type of starting capital, you're not going to see enough gains to mitigate that $150, $200 auto ship or subscription fee. So this is really big, guys. For a lot of you guys that have seen programs out there, this is going to blow all those other programs away. And for new people that are just getting started, I know with my audience there's going to be a bunch of people from different backgrounds. For the newest person, you're able to earn while you learn. So through the academy, you're going to be able to access a lot of the things in there in terms of education. So for all you guys that want to get involved and want to learn and polish your skill sets in terms of trading, you're able to also do that as well. So I really love this program. I'm going to cut this short. John, thanks a lot for sharing this. I really appreciate your time and your value that you bring to the table. I know this is going to blow up pretty big, but it's one of those things where everybody has their own risk tolerance, their own risk threshold, and I do want to emphasize that. So when it comes to trading, when it comes to investments, there's never any type of guarantees. But you want to basically take risks in life. As with anything in life, you're not taking risks, you're not moving ahead. But you also know your own risk capital and your own risk threshold. So super excited, guys. If you guys have any questions, reach out to me. I'm always available. And we'll stop this presentation here, and we'll go from there. Thank you again, John.
Thanks, guys.
All right, really appreciate it.